Nigeria's journey into nationhood is a story of nationalists, men of courage, iron will, remarkable resolve, resourcefulness, and in some cases, compromise. Few men embody these virtues in large quantity than Yakubu Njuma Gowon, Nigeria's head of state from 1966 to 1975, the period which marked an era many believed shaped today's Nigeria. The hilly Ngas village of Lur was home to Nde Yohana and Matwok Kunyang. Nde Yohana was of the ruling house of the Ngas, who trudged up these hills daily. Yakubu, the fifth of 11 children, was to later make a significant walk to the top in his country. Born on the 19th of October 1934, little Yakubu moved with his parents who had become Christian missionaries to Usasa, Zaria, where his education instruction began.
I was born in a small village called, Garam. But Lur is my father's, hometown. And of course, he was, the one of the children of the ruling, house in Lur that really control most of the villages, around. And, but he became a Christian. He was, of course, from his name, you can hear Gowon. Gowon means the owner of gods. Well, that is the privilege of being, named the owner of the gods. And of course, then he became a Christian and married my mother from the mission station in very close to Lur. These are all the areas that they were. My father was in a control. My father's father, was controlling, and then later on, of course, his mission work took him to various other areas in that area, and the last post was somewhere in Pangshin, a place called Ner, where the ruler of that particular area, lived. Called Lankok. And then it is from there that my parents moved, to Usasa Zaria. My father, certainly wanted, to move to the CMS mission that I think he started with. And so when one of the senior bishop called Bishop Smith was visiting that area for the handover, my father asked him if that he prefers to work with the CMS mission, and therefore he would like to move to the House of Mission in Zaria. So of course, so that he can get his children also educated. So that was how my parents, moved, from, to Usasa Zaria in 1936.
An accomplished athlete and a dedicated student, Yakubu Gowon caught the attention of his teachers as one to watch for the future. The student himself had modest ambitions.
In the end of 1953, and then of course, question of you've got to decide what do you want to do. So that was the time that I wanted to be a teacher. The school authorities wanted me to be, to probably go into the army, and I said no. mine was I wanted to be a teacher so that I can repay the goodness the mission did to give me, good education. So when I finished and became a teacher, I hope to be able to return to be teaching students, young people, in appreciation, of what the mission, gave me.
Providence was to play a role. Dreams of a white chalk on a blackboard dissolved into the swish of khakis on black boots.
Towards at the end of the term, about 12 boys were being selected to go for the interview for military training. And of course, when I saw all my friends from the senior class, when I saw them go, I decided to go to the principal to say that yes, I also want to go and join. He was so delighted, and so he wrote a recommendation to the military unit depot there, for me to be also considered. And so he said they haven't got any transport to give me to go to the for the interview, but your friends, they are already on their way on foot to to the depot. So they said you're a good sportsman, so you can go, you can catch up with them, and of course I did. Of the 12 of us that went for that preliminary exercise, only it was me who, in the end, was got through. Took the Army entrance examination, made the interview, and then it was selected, to go for military training, which we did in 1954.
After Yakubu Gowon received his commission as second lieutenant on the 19th of October 1955, his 21st birthday, he undertook several trainings, including instruction at the Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst in the United Kingdom.
We went to Eton Hall, a preliminary training place in the UK called Eton Hall in Chester. And from there, we had to take another examination called the War Office Selection Board. And if you make it, then you go to Sandhurst. You go to Sandhurst, and then you go to the regular. You go to the next board called the Regular Officers Special Training in a school, and then from there to you go to a pre Sandhurst college at that time, called Anzio Company, attached to Sandhurst before you go to Sandhurst.
His passion and commitment as a gentleman officer were seen as a great model for young men aspiring to join the Nigerian army.
The most interesting thing about General Gowon's visit to us, we had a teacher called Onimole. Onimole taught Gowon in Government College, Zaria, Barewa College now. And when he met Gowon, he collected us, that's Onimole, to say, here, children, I want to show you one of my best students. He was doing his homework very well, not like you boys are doing. He was a very good officer, a very good student when he was in the college, and now he is a fine military officer. So a lot of us got excited about General Gowon. He came, he talked to us about career prospects in the Nigerian military. And by God, a lot of us became interested in joining the Nigerian army.
During my primary days and secondary school days, I belong to Boy Scout Association, and that gives me the love for field exercises. And so one after listening to the lecture by then Captain Gowon, certainly that nailed the coffin. So I made up my mind to join the military, and that's where we are today.
Gowon's steady rise in the army got to a critical juncture when he returned to the country just 2 days before it experienced its first coup d'etat.
As it happened around that time throughout the world, in the Middle East, in some parts of Africa, in the South or Latin America, there had been incidents of military intervention in government in various countries, and but as far as I'm concerned, I said, the way I know the Nigerian army and the way I know us, the relationship between all of us, I said, no, such a thing cannot happen. But by the time we got to, and this question was asked by various people, Nigerians, Ghanaians, Sierra Leoneans, even Europeans, etc. I honestly could not understand it, at that time. But however, there it was. But by the time we got to Accra, there were 3 coups in Central and West Africa. And one of them was very close to Nigeria. And of course, some of the people, the Nigerians that were on board, and probably some of them that asked me that question, then asked me, what about now? What about it now? With this coup, something very close to Nigeria. Of course, I had to be honest to say, well, it is too close home for comfort. Too close home for comfort. However, but let me be a philosopher. So I said, well, nothing is impossible in this world. But if such a thing happens in Nigeria, I hope the few loyal ones of us will deal with the situation and return the status quo.
This development began a chain of events that put him in the top chair. 7 months later, the 1st of August 1966, as 31-year-old Lieutenant Colonel, Yakubu Gowon became the head of state.
The event of the event of the 29th of July, the crisis, when General Ironsi and his host, Colonel Fajiri, the governor, of the West at the time, when they were abducted and then unfortunately killed. So I was sent to Ikeja, committee of some of us senior officers, the naval officer, Admiral Way, and Alao, in charge of the Air Force at the time. And of course, went to Ikeja, and it was at Ikeja, with all this thing happening, that the officers, some of the officers, etc., came to say to me, they will not have anybody to give them leadership but myself.
Still getting accustomed to being at the wheel of a nation of 52 million and growing, the young head of state was fighting fires in keeping his country on an even keel. It all came to a head 11 months after his ascendancy. A region was on the brink of breaking away, and some decisions had to be taken.
If the integrity, corporate existence of this country is threatened, I will use force to maintain it. And I'm afraid the time has come.
When Biafra decided to secede from Nigeria. All efforts by General Gowon to keep Nigeria together fell on deaf ears. Ojukwu and his mates decided to pull out of Nigeria. And then General Gowon, who was then the head of state, said, we are not going to have none of that. And that's what led to the civil war. And by that time, we were young officers, and we were sent to the front to keep Nigeria one.
We served under him for 3 years under civil war. And he made sure that officers under him behaved themselves in terms of treating whoever they are fighting. They said we are the same people, the same country. It's just under development. He really understood the problem of Nigeria more than most of Nigerians.
The unfortunate civil war lasted 30 months, with the head of state receiving the military leaders of Biafra who had surrendered to Nigerian forces.
And I would like, therefore, to take this opportunity to say that I, Major General Philip Effiong, officer administering the government of the Republic of Biafra, now wish to make the following declaration. That we affirm we are loyal Nigerian citizens and accept the authority of the Federal Military Government of Nigeria. That we accept the existing administrative and political structure of the Federation of Nigeria. That any future constitutional arrangement will be worked out by representatives of the people of Nigeria. That the Republic of Biafra hereby ceases to exist.
He led Nigeria under very difficult circumstances. You know it. He was fighting a civil war for 3 years. He led it with incredible integrity, personal and material. For somebody during the war to lead a developing country and came out clean clean was exceptional.
It is when a leader has challenges, when you lead a country or a group of people during challenges, that is when you know the worth of a good leader. General Gowon showed clearly that his vision and focus was the unity of Nigeria. His vision and focus was the peace of this country.
Gowon's post-war efforts hinged on 9 key targets: reconciliation and rehabilitation, reconstruction, reunification of the Nigerian armed forces, recovery of the Nigerian economy, reforms in the civil service, reforms in the judiciary, restoration of confidence in public administration, reduction of regional disparities, and reaffirmation of Nigeria's foreign policy.
It has been generally accepted that if Nigeria is to make rapid progress on all fronts internally, and if she is to make her mark on the continent of Africa, and indeed in the Committee of Nations, then her youth must be fully mobilized and be prepared to offer willingly and without asking for rewards in return, their best in the service of their nation at all times. The establishment of the National Youth Service Corps is the first step towards the realization of this lofty goal.
In order to ensure full reintegration of the Nigerian people, General Gowon introduced the National Youth Service Corps scheme for fresh graduates to be deployed to states out of regions to better understand other ways of life within the country. The one-year compulsory program for graduates of Nigeria's tertiary institutions continues to act as a tool for unification, respect, and better understanding among the nation's youth population.
The Youth Corps is to make sure that all the youth feel engaged. They were, the people that one is looking at the future. If we give them that idea, this is what we want to do for the country. And it is them who should probably see it through when the time comes.
On the economic front, the Gowon administration changed the Nigerian currency from pounds and shillings to naira and kobo in January 1973. Visionary programs to aid food production, such as the National Accelerated Food Production Program, river basin development authorities to help in irrigation farming and the provision of potable water, were established. In 1974, General Gowon postponed the handing over to civil rule, which was expected to be in 1976, indefinitely. A year later, he was ousted from office by General Murtala Muhammad in a coup d'etat while he was attending an OAU summit in Kampala, Uganda.
Yes, that meeting we went believing that all will be well. But on board the ship, of course, there has been these rumors. On board the plane, there had been this rumor of possible coup, and only 2 names were mentioned. After that, I had to leave the foreign minister to continue, and then go on to play my tennis to exhaust famine, whatever it is, and we did. He gave a press conference, which, if you remember, quoted Shakespeare's "All the world is a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances." I didn't continue beyond that one. And ladies and gentlemen of the press, this is my exit, and I prayed for the well-being of the government of the country. I can assure you my fear of saying if I have to go back and the security situation that will take place in Nigeria, no. It is better that you allow them to see if they can do better. And it is for the good of Nigeria.
After his 9 years at the helm in Nigeria, he returned to school to obtain a PhD in political science at the University of Warwick in the United Kingdom. This, however, did not lead to any further aspirations on the political scene. Apart from election monitoring and mediation roles, the gentleman soldier has become a soldier for spiritual causes in healing the nation through Nigeria Prays, a program which has significant following within and outside Nigeria.
Even after dropping the rifle and bayonet, he picked the Holy Book, the Bible, and continued to advocate for the unity of Nigeria and the peace of Nigeria through his NGO, Nigeria Pray. So you see, he's a man that totally committed to peace.
Yes, there are things that human beings cannot deal with immediately. But to me, it is my belief in my religion, through prayers, I think you can be able, God can be able to touch the hearts and minds of those who are involved in doing the wrong thing against their fellow human beings.
The former head of state, with assistance from the Carter Center, helped eradicate the guinea worm disease in Nigeria, traveling to 82 different locations in Nigeria ravaged by the disease to ensure that Nigeria attained its guinea worm-free status.
Well, let me say, I think I want to congratulate President Carter for being 100 about a week or so ago, and to thank him to challenging me to join him in dealing with that problem of guinea worm in Nigeria. Of course, he's been doing it around the world, and especially in Africa, using his resources and effort to make sure that that happens, and at least that debilitating disease was dealt with in Nigeria some few years ago.
General Gowon, described by many as a family man, lives a quiet life with his wife of 55 years, Victoria Hansatu, whom he married while he was head of state in 1969.
I married an exceptionally intelligent and really hard working girl. Even though she trained, as a nurse, she had wanted to be a lawyer, but I think her parents virtually forced her to go into nursing, just like her mother did. And I found her with incredible qualities that you would have as as a wife over any other girl that one has has met. So, if I can tell you this, that I think we're married now for what, almost 55, 56 years, and I can assure you there is no possibility of a breakup. Okay, we promise each other until death do us part.
Recognized by the clergy as a man of faith, he showed his faith in his country when he served it, and now echoes the dreams of many in its future.
As long as this world exists, Nigeria shall exist. Take me back to the old man sitting back there, General Yakubu Gowon. Cliche, if Nigeria won, it's a task that must be done. If you are young or old, you will remember that.
Yakubu Gowon, the officer, gentleman, leader, and statesman, remains even till today a soldier's soldier.
Congratulations, Your Excellency General Yakubu Gowon. Happy birthday, sir. We wish you many more years to serve Nigeria, our dear country, and to serve humanity. Congratulations.
Well, I would like to say congratulations to my Commander-in-Chief in war and in peace, and to wish him more happy years of continued shining example to the next generation of Nigerians. When you talk of Nigeria, naturally you must talk about Jack Gowon, because he gave meaning to that term, Nigeria.
And there is a slogan which always reverberates with General Gowon's name. That is, when you spell Gowon, you say go on with one Nigeria. I want to, on behalf of my family and on behalf of all the officers who served and lost their lives during that crisis, say hearty congratulations to General Gowon on his 90th birthday. Sir, may you live long, so that Nigeria will continue to draw from your experience.